Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you were meant for more? Not just a little more, but much more. A better life, a stronger you, more confidence, more peace, more success. But then life happens. Disappointments pile up. Failures leave scars. Dreams get buried under the weight of responsibilities. You wake up one day and you don't even recognize who you've become. You're existing, but you're not living. You're breathing, but you're not thriving. My friend, I've been there. I know how that feels. And I want to tell you something today. It's not too late. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And that's what this is about. Not about pretending everything's fine, not about covering up the cracks, but about rebuilding from the inside out stronger, wiser, focused, driven, unshakable. Because here's the true thing. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you become ready for. It's time to become that person. It's time to rebuild yourself for success. And I'll show you how. There comes a time in every person's life when you have to stop and take a long, honest look at yourself. Not the version you show the world. Not the smile you wear at work. Not the I'm fine you say when your heart is heavy. I'm talking about the real you. The person behind the noise. The one who lives in quiet moments. When the world goes silent and you're left alone with your thoughts. That's when the wake-up call comes. You see, life has a funny way of getting your attention. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts. Sometimes it sends a storm that shakes the very foundation you've been standing on. But the message is always the same. Something has to change. I remember when it happened to me. I was 25 years old, broke, behind on my promises, living below my potential. I kept saying, things will get better. But they didn't, because I didn't. Until one day, I got tired, not just physically tired, but emotionally tired. Tired of making excuses. Tired of feeling behind. Tired of pretending. That's when I made a decision not to wish for change, but to become the change. That's the first step to rebuilding yourself. The wake-up call. You can't rebuild if you don't recognize that something is broken. And you can't fix what you refuse to face. Now, listen to meet this moment right here, where you're questioning everything, where you're feeling restless, where your dreams are louder than your doubts. This is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. Because success doesn't begin with a new job or a new opportunity or more money. It begins with a decision. The decision to no longer live below your potential. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. You're not stuck. You're not cemented in your current situation. You're not doomed to repeat the same mistakes. But you do have to wake up. You have to decide that enough is enough. You have to look yourself in the mirror and saying, I may not be where I want to beg, but I won't stay where I am. And that's not weakness. That's power. That's courage. That's the beginning of a new you. So let me ask you, what are you tolerating right now? What mediocrity have you accepted as normal? What have you been putting off, waiting for the right time? There is no right time. There's only now. And if you want to rebuild, you must start by waking up. Stop waiting. Stop wishing. Stop blaming. You cannot make progress without making decisions. This is the decision that turns everything around. The moment you choose growth over comfort. Action over excuses. Discipline over distraction. Because until you change your mindset, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. Rebuilding doesn't begin with bricks and tools. It begins with awareness. It begins with responsibility. Take responsibility for your life, your habits, your results, your future. No one is coming to save you, but you. You can save you. And that realization is the wake-up call. It's the beginning of a beautiful process. Not always ease fast, but always worth it. So today, don't just hear this message. Feel it. Let it stir something in you. Let it awaken what life tried to bury. Let it ignite your will to become. Because once you wake up, once you recognize the need for change, there's no turning back. The old you. It served its purpose. But it's time to rise. It's time to rebuild, not for others, not for applause, but for you. Now that you've heard the wake-up call and you've decided that change is necessary, there's an important truth you must face. You cannot build success on an old blueprint. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many new goals you set, if the foundation, the blueprint, remains unchanged, your results will always fall short. You see, every one of us operates with a mental blueprint. It's the picture in your mind, your beliefs about who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve. It shapes your habits, your decisions, and ultimately your life. But the problem is most of us are living by a blueprint designed for yesterday, a blueprint etched by old fears, by limiting beliefs, by failures and disappointments. This blueprint whispers lies to you day after day. You're not good enough. Success is for other people, not you. You don't have what it takes. It's too late. And these lies, they become self-fulfilling prophecies because your mind, your actions, and your life follow what you believe. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. If you want to become the person who achieves more, you must tear down the old blueprint. Now, tearing down isn't easy. It's not just about forgetting your past or pretending it didn't happen. No, it's about looking honestly at what you believe and being brave enough to question it. Ask yourself, what thoughts have I been holding on to that no longer serve me? What stories have I told myself that keep me trapped in the same place? Maybe you think you're not smart enough to learn something new. Maybe you think you're too old to start over. Maybe you think you don't deserve happiness or success. These are lies you've accepted as truth. They're not facts, they're outdated beliefs. They are the bricks of the old blueprint. And if you try to build your future on those bricks, you'll be building on sand. So what does tearing down the old blueprint really mean? It means facing your fears and doubts head on. It means admitting where you've been wrong. It means being willing to unlearn habits and patterns that have kept you small and stuck. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. This process takes humility. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to be uncomfortable. Because when you start to tear down, you'll feel resistance, not just from the outside world, but from inside yourself. You'll hear that old voice of doubt, the one that tells you to stay safe, to avoid risk, to settle for less. But that voice, it's the echo of your old blueprint trying to protect you. It wants to keep you inside what's familiar, even if that familiar is holding you back. And here's the challenge. You have to tell that voice to be quiet. You have to choose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. As you tear down the old blueprint, you begin to make space. Space for new ideas. Space for new beliefs. Space for a new vision of yourself. This is a sacred space. A blank canvas. The starting point for rebuilding your life. It's also a vulnerable space. Because now you're exposed, without the shield of old stories. But that vulnerability is a sign of strength. It means you're ready to grow. Remember, a new blueprint won't appear by magic. It appears when you intentionally replace the lies with truth. When you replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. For example, instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I'm learning, growing, and becoming better every day. Instead of saying, it's too late, say, I can start right now, no matter my age or stage. This mental remodeling requires daily work. Because the mind clings to old blueprints like a child to a favorite toy. You have to gently but firmly take those old thoughts and replace them. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. So, what old beliefs are you ready to tear down? What stories are you ready to rewrite? Be patient with yourself. This is not a race. This is a process. And when the tearing down is done, you'll feel lighter, more free, more open to possibility. You'll find that your energy shifts, your confidence grows, Your mindset becomes a magnet for opportunity. But let me be clear, tearing down the old blueprint is not about erasing your past. It's about learning from it, taking what's valuable, and leaving behind what no longer serves you. You're not discarding your experiences. You're discarding the limiting stories you've built around them. And this is the essential foundation for rebuilding yourself for success. So today, commit to tearing down your old blueprint. Be ruthless in cutting out the beliefs and habits that hold you back. Be brave in facing the discomfort. Because on the other side of tearing down is the power to build a new life, a new you, a new destiny. Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. If you want different results, you must become different. And that begins with tearing down the old blueprint. Now that you've torn down the old blueprint, now that you've cleared the space, it's time to build, brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. And it starts with focus. What you focus on grows. What you think about expands. And what you dwell upon determines your destiny. You see, life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you focus on with intensity and consistency. Most people don't lack potential. They lack focus. They're distracted, pulled in 1,000 directions. Busy but not effective. Moving but not progressing. And here's the great tragedy. You can be talented, intelligent, hardworking. But if your focus is scattered, your destiny will be unclear. Let me say it plainly. You cannot shape your future with a scattered mind. You've got to learn to direct your attention like a laser. You've got to learn to say no to the noise so you can say yes to your purpose. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters every single day. You don't need 100 goals. You need one goal with 100 days of focus behind it. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And discipline begins with focus. So how do you focus yourself to shape your destiny? Let me give you a few guiding thoughts. Simple, but powerful one. Decide what you want. Most people never get what they want because they never took the time to define it clearly. If I asked you right now, what do you want to become? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? Would you have an answer? You must decide, not vaguely, not someday, not I just want to be happy, but clearly, specifically, write it down. Because once you decide what you want, you've activated the power of focus. The major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. Goals give your mind something to aim at. Without them, your focus has no direction. 2. Guard your mind ruthlessly. Focus is fragile, and in a world filled with distractions, you must become the guardian of your thoughts. What are you feeding your mind? What do you allow to influence your emotions, your time, your energy? If you allow negativity in, don't be surprised when negativity becomes your outlook. If you spend your time in drama, gossip, and mindless scrolling, don't be surprised when you can't concentrate on your dreams. You must protect your focus like treasure, because it is. Feed your mind with wisdom. Read good books. Listen to truth. Surround yourself with people who stretch your thinking, who challenge you to rise. Because environment is stronger than willpower. If you want to stay focused, build an environment that supports focus. 3. Break your focus into daily discipline. Focus doesn't mean you sit down once a week and think big thoughts. No, focus is built in the trenches, in the grind, in the ordinary moments of the day. What you do daily determines who you become. Ask yourself, what small, meaningful task can I do today that moves me 1 inch closer to my destiny? Then do it. Even if you don't feel like it. Even if no one is watching. Even if the results don't show right away. Because success doesn't come from big leaps. It comes from small steps, taken with focus, repeated with discipline. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. 4. Refocus when life distracts you. Let's be honest. You will get distracted. You will fall off track. But that's not the problem. The problem is staying off track. Refocus again and again. When your emotions shift, when setbacks come, when others try to pull you off your path, refocus. Write your goals again. Review your plan again. Take action again. Persistence with focus creates power. It builds momentum, and momentum makes success inevitable. 5. Visualize the person you're becoming. Don't just focus on the task. Focus on the transformation. See yourself becoming more. See yourself with the confidence, with the strength, with the clarity of purpose. Because when you hold that image in your mind, you begin to live into it. And that's when you shape your destiny. My friend, don't let another year go by living by default. Don't let your mind drift wherever life blows it. Focus it. Train it. Direct it. Because a focused mind is a powerful mind. And a powerful mind can change everything. Focus gives your life purpose. Purpose gives your life direction. And direction gives your life results. Either you run the day or the day runs you. So today, take back your focus. Shape your hours. Shape your habits. Shape your thinking. Because in shaping those, you shape your destiny. If you want to, build a tall building. You've got to dig a deep foundation. And when it comes to building a successful life, and that foundation is character, you can have talent. You can have ambition. You can even get lucky once in a while. But without character, it all crumbles. Success is something you attract by the person you become. That's the truth. And who you become starts from within, not outside, not in things, not in the praise or approval of others, but in your values, your habits, your integrity, your consistency, your character. Let me say something direct. You don't get success and then become a person of character. You become a person of character, and then success finds you. Because success is not something you chase. It's something you attract. It's easy to do the right thing when everyone's watching. It's easy to keep promises when it's convenient. But true character is tested in silence, when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when no one is applauding. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Why? Because better people make better decisions, and better decisions build better lives. Your character is like a muscle. You strengthen it by using it. You strengthen it by telling the truth when it would be easier to lie. You strengthen it by being reliable when it would be easier to quit. You strengthen it by doing what's right when no one would ever know the difference. That's character. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned was this. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. You see, your character isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. You shape it with every choice you make. When you blame others, you give away your power. When you make excuses, you pause your growth. But when you take full responsibility, you begin to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Say to yourself, I am the architect of my future, and that future begins with the strength of my character. Let me give you 4 powerful traits to focus on as you rebuild yourself. 1. Integrity. Do what you say. Follow through. Keep promises. Integrity is not just about honesty. It's about being whole, undivided, consistent. If your public life and private life don't match, that's a crack in the foundation. Fix it. Strengthen it. Because without integrity, nothing else lasts. Discipline. Success is built on discipline. Not feelings. Not motivation. Discipline. Get up when you don't feel like it. Stick to your routine when no one else does. Do the boring work when it isn't fun. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Build discipline today, so you won't live in regret tomorrow. 3. Humility. A strong character doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need the spotlight. It listens. It learns. It grows. Humility says, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn. It welcomes correction. It doesn't fear growth. And here's the paradox. The more humble you are, the higher you rise, because life promotes those who remain teachable. 4. Courage. Character without courage is fragile. You've got to have the guts to stand firm, to face fear, to make hard decisions. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of fear. When everything around you says, play it safe, courage says, stand for something. When the crowd goes left, Courage is the voice inside that says, go right. And when you move forward with courage, character grows stronger. You see, life will test you. It will hand you opportunity, but also responsibility. And if your character is weak, the weight of success will crush you. But if your character is strong, you'll carry it. You'll protect it. You'll multiply it. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. And the first change, the deepest change, is character. Rebuilding yourself for success isn't just about making more money or getting more praise or building a bigger name. It's about building a life you can look back on with pride, a life that reflects your values, a life that honors your commitments, a life of strength, not shortcuts, depth, not drama, substance, not flash. And that kind of life is only possible with character. So today, start the rebuilding. Start small. But start. Shape your thoughts. Sharpen your habits. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Because when character is your foundation, success will have no choice but to stay. Let's talk about building, not just talking, not just wishing, building. See? Once you've had the wake-up call, once you've turned down the old blueprint, once you've chosen to focus your mind and rebuilt your character, there's only one thing left to do, but build the life you were meant to live. And you build it like anything great, one brick at a time. You don't build a mansion in a weekend. You don't sculpt a masterpiece with one swing of the chisel. No, you lay a brick, then another, each one carefully placed. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. So let me ask you, what brick are you laying today? We look at the successful and think, they must know some secret I don't. But here's the secreting. They do the small things over and over and over. They read the books. They work on their goals. They plan their days. They track their progress. Not once. Not when they feel like it. But every single day. That's what separates the wishful from the powerful. The dreamers from the builders. Before you lay the first brick, you've got to know what you're building. Are you building a shack of excuses? Or a castle of purpose? Are you building a life of comfort and escape? Or a life of strength and contribution? You don't stumble into greatness. You design it. So sit down, get quiet, and ask what kind of life do I want to live? Be clear, be honest, be bold. Then once you've got the vision, start laying the bricks. Let me warn you, you'll be tempted to quit. Why? Because when you lay the first brick, it doesn't look like much. You eat a healthy meal and the mirror doesn't change. You read one chapter and you're not a genius yet. You save a few dollars and the bank account still feels empty. So most people stop. But listen to me. You're laying the foundation. You won't see the result immediately, but day to day, brick by brick, you're building something unstoppable. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. So do it. Even when no one notices. Even when it doesn't feel exciting. Here's something powerful. As you build the life, you build the builder. Every brick you lay makes you stronger, more disciplined, more focused, more courageous. You start becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to be pushed, who doesn't wait to be motivated, who doesn't break when things get hard. You become a person of purpose, of direction, of strength. You stop chasing success because you become the kind of person success chases. Now, a word of caution, don't get distracted by what others are building. Maybe someone else's wall looks taller. Maybe someone seems to be moving faster, but you don't know their blueprint. You don't know their materials. You don't know the cracks beneath their paint. You just keep laying your bricks quietly, consistently, faithfully. And one day, you'll look up and realize you've built something magnificent. You're not just building for you. You're building a message, a model, a legacy. Someday someone will look at your life and they'll say, if they could do it, maybe I can too. If they stayed strong, maybe I can be strong. If they kept building, brick by brick, I can too. Because your life is proof that success is possible, That transformation is real. That discipline works. So today, my friending, lay the next brick. Build with intention and trust the process, because the life you were meant to live, it's not out there somewhere, it's here. It's now. It's one brick at a time. So let me leave you with this. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to live the same year over and over again. You don't have to carry yesterday into tomorrow. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. Change is possible. Growth is available. Success is within reach. But it starts with you. It starts today, not next week, not next month. Today, you don't need perfect conditions. You just need a decision. The decision to rebuild. The decision to rise. The decision to become the person you were meant to be. Not overnight, but brick by brick. And as you do the work, you'll look back, not with regret, but with pride. Pride that you answered the wake-up call, that you tore down the excuses, that you shaped your destiny, that you rebuilt your character and built a life of meaning. One brick at a time. That's the journey. That's the calling. And my friend, that's the life worth living. Now go to the work. Go build something great, because the world needs what you're becoming. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better, and every day become better. Rebuild yourself for success. Thank you for listening.